Why did the Titanic sink? Nah, just kidding. So, today we will be studying the buoyant force of water, and we will try not to disturb the fishes. Today we will be studying the buoyant force of water. So, have you ever thought, why would a simple rock sink into the water and a heavy aircraft carrier would float as easily on the sea? Well, I will be studying that today. How many pieces of 50 cents does it take to make this plastic Tupperware sink? It took 20 pieces of 50 cents to make the Tupperware sink. When I filled my boat with water, I could figure out the mass of the maximum amount of water it could displace. That tells me how heavy the boat can be before it sinks. Then I emptied the boat and started adding 50 cents piece. Once the weight of all those 50 cents piece became greater than the weight of the displaced water, the boat sank. If my experience went well, I probably noticed that the mass of water in a full cup is very close to the mass of the 50 centimes pieces needed to sink the boat. That's not a coincidence. A boat floating in water feels two opposing forces, gravity pulling down and something called a buoyant force pushing up. The buoyant force comes from difference in water pressure exerting a force on the boat. The boat floats when the buoyant force is equal and opposite to the boat's weight. So, my results. The boat sinks when the weight of the 50 cent pieces exceed the weight of water that fills the boat. Rock sinks because they weigh more than an equal volume of water. Aircraft carriers float because, even though they are incredibly massive, they actually weigh less than the amount of water they displace. Aircraft carriers are like my plastic boat before I added too many 50 cents pieces. The reason they weigh less comes down to one thing: they are less dense than water. Ships float because they take the weight of all the steel and spread it out on a very large volume. An aircraft carrier is actually mostly filled with air.
Je passe le chercher dans la porte.
C'est pas grave. Quand tu peux. Arrête, faut pas chier. Thought that why would a simple rock sink into water and an aircraft carrier float as it sinks? Ah, fais chier.
Non, just kidding.
Jean-Mi, arrête.
Quoi?
Mais je suis en train de filmer. Carriers are like your plastic. Oh no. My plastic boat, not yours.